Yo, what is up YouTube? Cruiser20 here, back with another live content of 200 Zoom, 2 tables as usual. Let's go. Here I'm playing Limps or raises, folding this one. Here against a short stacker. I think I'm gonna skip this spot. This is a mix open, but against a short stacker that I might get shoved on, I'm gonna skip that spot. This one's gonna be a mix call, I believe. A low frequency one. Here against 2.5x. Against 2.3 it would be a call, I believe, but I think I'm gonna flat against this guy. Folding flop. Here on this board I'm playing 75% or check. There's some checking frequency with offset if you play that strat. But I'm betting this time. Opening Jack 10 with weak player in big blind. Gonna be using pot size as my double barrel sizing here, because he can still have queen 9 and ace queen. We can't really overbet. And range betting against rec, even though this board isn't against isn't for range betting. Yeah, I think I want to have a spade if I want to bet, but rec is gonna be so wide, even on the flops. I think I can get away with it. Snap calls. So this is interesting because he snapped call, right? So he doesn't really have a flush that often, and 5 would probably think of raising. Even though this would be a check in GTO on a flush board, I'm gonna go for a value bet, half pot. Opening here. This one's gonna be a limp or fold. It's not open. It's not gonna be open. Small blind ace deuce off. There's not many players in the pool. 25. Here, I think this one can mix some 4-bets. I'm gonna call this time. Calling way more when my opponent uses smaller sizing like he did. And here, even though it's a really bad hand, super good price. And yeah, I'm gonna call. This one you can have some raises, especially if a guy is going to be range C betting. Yeah, let's go for it. Here, I think I'm just gonna be jamming my top pair. Hope he calls me off with ace king or something, because we're 25 deep. He has queens. This one I'm mixing 3-bet or call. Folding versus a jam. That's a spot you're supposed to have some jams against a big 3-bet size. Button versus big blind. Limping here. This one is a mixed call and flat, I believe. Going to be betting this combo high frequency on this board. But yeah, about this his shove. Like you wanna have shoves the bigger I go. If I play 10 or 11 BB raise size, I don't think there's much jamming going on. But against 13, you're supposed to jam some ace king off, jacks, and stuff like that. Small range. I changed my avatar 2 days ago and they still haven't updated it. Like, what the fuck? Here you could limp this hand. Let's do it. Snap check, meaning he's usually weaker. Yeah, I'm just gonna be betting this hand. Going for a check call now. Here I block. Actually, I don't block his bluffs, never mind. So yeah, I'm going for a check call again. That's a really small value bet size. This one could be a mixed fold, but against the guy I don't know, I'm pure calling. But yeah, limp pots people usually aren't studied as well. They don't really fight for the pots. You can go get away with range betting almost anything. Unless it's like super bad board with a lot of deuces and threes. Because that's gonna be his main snap check back pairs, right? 5 deuce off, 6 deuce off, 7 deuce off, 7 3 off, stuff like that. On those boards you wanna have a high checking frequency if you're playing limps. Opening this pair with 2 recreationals in the blinds. This one is gonna be a pure 4-bet. If you have aces, you can flat some low frequency against bigger sizings again. The smaller my opponent 3-bets, the less you wanna flat aces. This one's gonna be a pure 3-bet. This is a mix call and 4-bet. Calling this time. He shouldn't really be range betting. He snap bet. I would assume he range bets, but he shouldn't really be range betting these positions on a ace plus 2 connected card board. So I'm gonna be raising more often, even though this hand you usually wanna if you have bottom and top 2 pair, usually those are, even in single raise spots, those are good candidates to check call. This one's gonna be a call or 3-bet. Here I'm going to be playing really big sizes or checks. I'm gonna check this time. You could maybe play some blocks as well if there wasn't double flush draw board, I believe. And calling the river, it's going to be overbluffed on this card. Because that's what he should do in tier as well. It's a good card for his range. Yeah, you see, he went overbluffed with ace of spades and jack of clubs. Which is bad in theory, but I think it's winning in practice. Because you're supposed to mix calls with 8x here. Which I don't think people will be comfortable with. This one is gonna be a fold. I like to open wider usually, but with 2 regs in the blind, it's just too egoistical adjustment to make to open wider. It's like, I'm the GOAT, I'm gonna open what I want. You don't want to have that approach in poker. The calling here. This one's gonna mix 3-bet and call. He opens. Here I think we want to have a diamond if we want to call. And we don't need to call this wide. If we have stuff like 5, 6, even without a diamond and stuff, that's a better call than pocket 7s. If we have a naked diamond like king, queen off, it's probably a better call as well. It's all about improvement in poker, right? How can your hand improve? Doesn't matter, like, the hand strength doesn't matter in most of the cases. Even though a lot of people still play like that. This one is gonna be low frequency call. I'm gonna call this time. Here is a board he can range bet. I'm supposed to be attacking like 20% of the time frequency, like all my low pairs, and some queen, some ace king off, some ace 5 of hearts, stuff like that. It's a pretty big sizing. I'm gonna be checking here. It's a pretty big sizing. I'm gonna be calling. And we hit the gin card. Here, my delay sizing is going to be 40%, but I think this hand really wants to check. Again, same reasoning, bottom and low pair, you want to check the most. And this one, just going for a call, no point of raising here. And I'm value betting for big size now. And winning a stack here. His game. But yeah, I think I might have overcalled the flop against this sizing. But I think having mixes with 4 of clubs isn't that bad, to be honest. If I had without a club, that's 100% fold. But it's so rewarding when you mix a call, and then if you miss a call low frequency, then you hit a turn, a gin on the turn. That's so rewarding. That's why I like playing these strategies, you know. Where you mix stuff, where you're protected on every run out. Here I'll be using 75 or check. Probably checking this hand always. There might be some betting with a backdoor flush draw. Here I can get away with range betting for sure. He's not gonna have that many deuce X. Even though he has the most deuce X from button versus big line, but still it's gonna be so low portion of his range that here again I'm gonna bet this time, even though it's calling here, even though it's bottom and top, you don't want to check it every time. You want to have some bets as well. And here he's supposed to be like raising all kind of backdoor hands on the flop. And I'm supposed to be calling like Jack 10 off and stuff like that. Queen Jack off. Maybe not that wide. Queen Jack off is good, yeah. Jack 10 off is kind of too wide. And here I would be playing blocks, but I don't think there's a point in blocking my hand. Sure, I fold out some live cards, but I think ace 10 is good in a checking line. Against a block, it's gonna have some pairs, low pocket pairs, some low king X. This node might be overbluffed, to be honest. But I'm not gonna call every time. It might be overbluffed, but I'm not gonna call every time. If the guy understands that I call flop with a lot of ace-x and stuff, he can do this exploitatively with any 2 on the river. If he understands that, but I don't know, I need to have a really good read that he's well studied in those nodes, right? Here I'm gonna have some raises, raising really big when I do raise. Checking range here, especially multi-way. This hand isn't that frequent of a raise because he's supposed to continue ace king, ace queen, so I haven't lose against that, but I can barrel him off on the turn and the river. So here I think my sizing would be block. We get a raise. So what do we do against this? I think when we unblock his strongest hands, we always go for the stack. If I had ace 9 or pocket aces, I would call. So he calls pretty fast. He can have some flush draws. and boats. The thing is, does he have ace-x here in this line? Folding here. I think I go for all of it. If I block, I don't think he's like he in theory he's supposed to jam some of his stuff, but I don't think people would jam flushes enough. Oh wait, never mind. I thought I thought I have the boat. Fuck. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I'm gonna jam myself. With a 9 of clubs, I'm gonna jam myself. Trying to stack his ace-4, deuces, fours. I wanted to induce, I thought I have a boat somehow. Folding this, even though this guy's a wreck. Can't open too wide. Only against passive wrecks. Gonna be playing 4-bet here, pure. If it was against earlier positions, I could have some jams with kings, specifically. It's part of my strategy. You jam kings and you jam ace-king off versus a 3-bet. So ace-king off is kinda your bluff, even though it has like good equity against his calling range. And then kings is your value. So this board is going to be a high frequency c-bet, I think. Yeah, if it was 10, 8, 6, I think I would check a lot because he's gonna have tens. Here, button versus big blind, he doesn't have jacks that often. Sometimes it jams. Here I'm going for a 66 c-bet. Okay, so we get a queen on the turn. I'm trying to think that we have some jams here. If I had a ace queen, I think I would jam. I think I'll still jam without a spade. Yeah, we get there. I think you want to have some jams there. If I would have aces with diamond and heart, that's a good jam. Ace queen is a good jam. Actually, ace jack might be a good jam because he's not gonna have a lot of queen x calling the flop. Yeah, we actually do have a lot of jams here. Yeah, I think that's correct. Even though he hits some 10-9s here, he hits some, yeah, 10-9s. Actually, he does have some queens, queen 10 and queen jack. I wonder what I would do with ace jack of hearts if I had it, yeah. I mean, not ace jack off. I'm not 3-betting. I'm not 4-betting suited ace jack. I need to review this hand. I'm curious about like how often do we jam the turn? I think we just play jams or checks on double flush draw when it's like close to 1 SPR. I think that's correct. We can build some small betting range with like jacks, queens, ace of spades, ace of clubs. I don't think it's necessary though. I need to study that one. This one, I'm gonna be c-betting small. Usually in big blind 3-bet pots, you can't really range bet most of the boards. But this one is good enough, I think. And my opponent won't punish me enough with the appropriate raises, so. I could play some 3-bets here. Not pure though. And I'm gonna be jamming the turn when he bets. Here I'm going for a what size? Bet. So his range here should be some sets and then ace queen mostly. Without having a spade, I think I'm always jamming this one. Yeah, so he did that. He did attack the small c-bet. He maybe understands that I can't c-bet range. Here against recreational, I'm c-betting range. Really good card for me. So this is a spot where I think people misplay. When they c-bet big on the flop, that's what I see, and then they like overbet when the over card comes on the turn, which is not really a good strategy. But now I can overbet because I c-betted small on the flop, so he still has a lot of king queens, queen tens, right? But if you bet big on the flop, the villain won't have enough queen x, you know, in his range, and they're usually going to be overfolding their 5x region, right? Maybe some jack x as well when they see a huge overbet. That's what I notice a lot of people do. They c-bet big on the flop and then they overbet on the overcard on the turn, which I don't think is a good strategy. I hope you can hear me well now when I have a mic. In last video, I forgot to put the mic in front of my mouth, so some words were cutting out. We're gonna be wrapping it up in like 4 minutes or so. Recreational Limp, always isolating. What I like to do against Rex in a 3-bet pot or isolate pot, whatever, just c-bet any board. Okay, so here we have tons of equity. The thing is, do we want to induce or do we want to build a pot ourselves? Some Rex really spaz out if you block a lot. I think I'm going to be using normal size though. If I had a normal queen, I would be blocking. With that redraw, I'm building the pot myself. And I'm going for a healthy 75% on the river. And we get him. Got him. 8-10 off. So I want to change his label to a whale. Here, I'm gonna be playing some of flats in small blind, so I'm just gonna flat this hand on a low roll. We have 2 more minutes, so let's try to play a few hands, then I'm gonna click sit out. This is a really good board for me. I'm going to be leading here. High frequency. With this hand. Not high frequency with range, but with this hand. Actually, 3-way it might not be that high. I mean, no one knows 3-ways. No one knows multi-way spots, so if it would be heads up, I would be leading it with a backdoor flush draw on a good board for me. Yeah, multi-way isn't solved yet. Everyone is just guessing what's good. Usually you just want to be like tighter and stuff. That's pretty much it. Calling here. Let's sit out next big blind. I think there was some interesting spots, even though there weren't that many action. There's only 20 people in the pool. Folding here, folding here. There's only 20 people in the pool in the morning. As you know, my whole career I play in the mornings because this is the time I feel most comfortable with. My brain works good. Gonna be opening this hand. Against the rec, I'm gonna be c-betting. and falling. Against a short stack, yeah. We don't call this type of hands. So yeah, let's finish this table. So yeah, 30 minutes passed. This was it. Kind of slower session than the last one, but I think there was still some interesting spots. And yeah, if you liked it, give it a like, sub, add me on Discord if you want to ask me some questions. And yeah, see ya guys, and take care.